We are called ABM-1A. We are here to present our quantitative research entitled The Relationship Between Socializing Skills and Self-Esteem of the Students of Pinma University of Pangasinan.
The problem. We all know that socializing skills and self-esteem are important for personal development. Socializing skills is the ability to communicate or interact with other people in a friendly way. It is essential for a human being because it can build a good relationship between people living in the same society. On the other hand, self-esteem is the way that people feel about themselves, to which they value. It is a sense of having self-respect and understanding of your own worth. Hence, people with low self-esteem often feel unlovable, worthless, and incompetent despite of their achievement in life. These are the questions regarding to the topic or issues about our study that is needed to be answered at the end of our research. The problem was stated as, first, what are the profile of the respondents in terms of name, age, and sex? Second, what is the level of socializing skills of the students? Third, what is the level of self-esteem of the students? And last, is there a significant relationship between socializing skills and self-esteem of the students? The created problem aimed to discover if there is a correlation between socializing skills and self-esteem and how does these two variables affect each other. Furthermore, hypothesis testing is created for the assumption of the researchers. This study will test the following hypothesis in its null form at 0.5 level of significance, wherein there is no significant relationship between socializing skills and self-esteem of the respondents. Now, I will give the floor to Ms. Donalyn Pettis to discuss the other parts of Chapter 1.
This figure is the research paradigm of the present study that involves two variables. The independent variable is the causal of overall outcome of the self-esteem of a student. The dependent variable is the result of socializing skills. It shows that socializing skills has a significant relationship to the self-esteem. Thus, these are the beneficiaries of our study: student, parents, school employees, government, community, researchers, and the future researchers. They will provide them sufficient information and help them on how to improve or gain one's self-esteem and on how to socialize with other people in a better way. The scope of this research is focused on the respondents in Pinma University of Pangasinan, Arellano Street, Dagupan City. The respondents are the students of 12 ABM Section 4A. We did not include the students that are not studying in Pinma Upang. The limitation of the study is that we only have 46 respondents among 1,000 students studying in Pinma University of Pangasinan. Nevertheless, it still gave us enough data that we need in our study.
2. Review of related literature and studies. In this part of the research, we gain more information about our study. Also, it helps us researchers to interpret our findings. Featuring socializing skills foreign. Russia 2011 produces indicators about the many different symptoms of psychological disorders. Local. Acosta P. 2017 explained that the social-emotional skills begins after birth and continues through adulthood. Self-esteem, foreign. Bruno and Joko 2014 explained the role of the teacher in improving the self-esteem of the students. In local, MacLeod 2017 explained that the self-esteem should be viewed as a continuum and should be high, medium, and low.
Studies on socializing skill, foreign. Mitchell R. Bernstein in 2011, the effect of social skill training consisting of instruction, feedback, behavior rehearsal, and modeling. Local. Maria Emma Concepcion in 2014, the survey in order to describe child reading attitude, expectation, belief, and practices from the early childhood to late adolescence. On self-esteem, foreign. Birch in 2010 conducted a study on how body dissatisfaction affects self-esteem to adolescent students. Local. Hernandez R.M. in 2017. In this study, it was recommended to have more classroom activity to gain their confidence and develop their self-esteem.
Chapter 3, Methodology. This chapter covers the detailed explanation of methodology used to this research to flow smoothly and complete accordingly. It also explains how the necessary data and information to address the research objective and question shall be collected, presented, and analyzed. Research design. The researcher used independent variables and dependent variables to analyze the data and explain while providing additional information about the topic. Locally of the study. The study was conducted on Pinma University of Pangasinan. It holds the biggest population of senior high school students of entire Ilocos region. Hence, it was chosen as the locally of the study. Respondents of the study. The respondents of the study were composed of 46 12 ABM 048 students. It belongs to the ABM strand which focuses financial management, business management, and all the things that are accounted for. The researchers determined the number of respondents through the simple random sampling.
Data gathering instrument. The main tool or instrument in this study was survey questionnaire. The set of questionnaire made for the grade 12 ABM 4A. The questionnaire was based on the information gathered by the researchers. Data gathering procedure. The researchers personally hand out the questionnaire to the ABM Senior High School. The ABM Senior High School student gave a reasonable amount of time to answer the questionnaire. After the questionnaire have been answered, the data gathered from this research instrument was tallied and computed by interpretation according to the frequency of items. Statistical treatment of data. The researcher used frequency count, average, weighted mean, and correlational coefficient for testing of hypotheses. To answer the number 1, the researcher used frequency count and percentage of distribution. To answer number 2 and number 3, the researcher used average, weighted mean. To answer number 4, testing hypothesis, the researcher used person R.
Chapter 4, Presentation, Analysis of Data and Interpretation of Findings. This chapter presents the relevant and substantial data in which are presented, analyzed, and interpreted in the context of problem considered in this study. The following table shows the tallied frequency and tabulated percentages about the level of socializing skills and self-esteem of 12 ABM 4A who participated in the research.
The table shows the frequency distribution of male and female respondents of the research. The total frequency of female is 14 with a percentage of 30.43, while the frequency of 32 with a percentage of 69.57 of the respondents are female. The table shows the frequency distribution of the age of the respondents. It shows that 15 years old and below with no respondent with a percentage of 0. 34 of the respondents of 16 to 17 years old with a percentage of 73.91. 12 of the respondents is the age of 18 to 19 years old with a percentage of 26.9, while 20 years old with no respondents and with percentage of 0. All of the indicator statement on 12 ABM 4A gathered an average weight mean of 3.25, descriptive equivalent of sometimes, and transmuted description of moderate. The findings imply that in terms of socializing skills, the respondents are experiencing moderate interaction to others. Almost of the indicator statement on self-esteem gathered an average weight mean of 3.43, descriptive equivalent of sometimes, and transmuted description of moderate.
This section presents the significant relationship between socializing skills and self-esteem of the respondents. For the statistical treatment data gathered and collected, person R correlation was used in confirming whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis. The table shows the computed value of person R is 0.0629, which means the two variables have a positive weak correlation. Therefore, the given statistics on the table provide sufficient evidences to reject the null hypothesis. There is a significant relationship between socializing skills and self-esteem of the respondents.
Chapter 5. This chapter presents the summary of findings Conclusion based on findings and recommendation drawn from conclusions. This study aims to explain the relationship between socializing skills and self-esteem. From 46 respondents, the computed average weighted mean on the level of socializing skills was 3.25, and it was transmuted to a moderate level. The level of self-esteem was also transmuted to a moderate level, having a 3.43 average weighted mean. Now, the computed value correlation coefficient was 0.0629, therefore, the null hypothesis was rejected. First, we have concluded that females are more sociable than males because they tend to express more feelings and emotions than males. We have also found out that students do not have the enough courage to initiate a conversation with other people that they are not familiar with. Many of the students are afraid of judgments. They are always worried what others might say or think about them. Having a low self-esteem will make a person anxious and nervous, but socializing often can help boost their self-confidence.
For the parents, we are recommending them to help their children in boosting their confidence by encouraging and always making time for them. For the students, they might also want to interact with other people to improve their socializing skills. For the school admin, they could offer courses that focuses on developing self-esteem and one's socializing skills. And lastly, for the future researchers, we are recommending them to conduct the same study to offer new findings and validate findings in another setting to further help the students of today and future generations.
In our study, our motivation is ourselves, our parents, and lastly, God.
The scope of this research is focused on the respondents in Finmo University of Pangasinan, Arellano Lake, Dagupan City. The respondents are the students of 12 ABM Section 4A. We did not include the students that are not studying in Finmo UPAM.
The limitation of this study that we encountered are those characteristics of design that influences the place restriction of the findings of our research.
Research question is a great system for detecting issues done in research.
Are important, but the two most important sources of our research is Hassan Fugur of State University and Colado et al. Of 2017 because it helped us to accomplish successfully our research.
The research methodology that we have used is the survey questionnaire because it is the appropriate method to be used in our study.
Our respondent is from the students of grade 12 ABM 04A. We determined the 46 of them through Islovin's formula, and for our method, we use simple random sampling for our data gathering. In our data gathering, we use survey questionnaires for our measurement instrument.
The following are the noticeable findings in our study. First, on the profile of the respondents. With regards to age, from the 46 respondents, 34 of them are under 16 to 17 years of age, while 12 of them are under 18 to 19 years of age. However, with regards to sex, 32 of them were female, while 14 of them were male. Second, the computed average weighted mean for the level of socializing skills of the respondents was 3.25, which had a transmuted description of moderate level of socializing skills. Third, the computed average weighted mean for the level of self-esteem of the respondents was 3.43, which had a transmuted description of moderate level of self-esteem. Finally, on the correlation between the level of socializing skills and level of self-esteem of the respondents. The computed value for the correlational coefficient was 0.0629. Therefore, the null hypothesis was rejected.
The title of our work is our survey questionnaire.
The strongest part is our research questionnaire, where the weakest part of our study is Chapter 2, which is a review of related literature and related studies.
Recommendation, parents should encourage their children to build their self-esteem, and the student could practice interacting with others to improve their socializing skills.
The importance of our study is that it may serve as a background to students that may help on how to socialize with others. Because nowadays, self-esteem is one of the ways that people feel about their self to which they value.
our research. If we were conduct this study again, we would change the settings and respondents but the same research title.
The advice that we would give to ourselves if we will go back to the start of our study is to always cooperate and have a positive thinking.